What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Chaos. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. The stock market is crazy and chaotic. We made it our mission to help you guys own it. Fat Man Zoom, it's been a wild ride today. But before we get into anything, why don't we hit everybody off with the starting five?
Starting five, we have Jeff Panika, Ralph Vandenhoek, Tiger's Edge, Rudy Brown, Sean Ethier. I believe that is five. I did not count, but it sounds like five. Guys, welcome to Own the Chaos. Definitely everything's green, so I'm excited about that. I was not looking at the market, just opened up my app, and it just looks beautiful. Just green. It's like Christmas time.
It's really awesome. Also, shout out to Alonzo Gutierrez, who seems to be the only one that gets that we just decided to go live now with no audio until we're ready to actually get on with the show. So we were trying a little something different. That's what's going on. Lots of confusion out there on whether or not our mics were on or not. They were not on, but that was intentional.
Yeah. So if you haven't been here before, welcome to Own the Chaos. We actually, listen, we're trying to build a community. We're trying to have conversations to really talk to the people that are active investors. And that's our goal, is we're all in this together. It definitely can get monotonous and boring and frustrating, all the ups and downs, all the emotions in the market.
And lonely
Many times. So Own the Chaos, that's what it's about. A place you can come to where we can come together, learn from each other, and just talk about what's going on and have a good time. So our live streams, that's what it's about. Today we have earnings after hours. We have some good stuff after hours. No shortage of news. It feels like once earnings kicked off, bro, news keeps coming. So it definitely makes the shows a lot easier when there's a ton of news going on.
I love it, man. Today, definitely with the Fed coming out announcing that they will be tapering in December. Doesn't seem to be anything that anybody was shocked by, but today in the market before the Fed made the announcement, it was just like super choppy, bro. I was pretty deep in the red. Then I got way positive. I was up around 3%. Then everything kind of pulled back just before the announcement came out. Fed comes out and says, hey, we're going to start tapering in December to the tune of around 15 to 20 billion. And so then the market goes off. Everybody responds accordingly because why did that happen? Because nobody was surprised. It was basically one of those situations in which, what the Fed said was pretty much what everybody was expecting the Fed was going to say. And what does the stock market hate the most? Surprises. So when they came out and nobody was surprised, market goes right back up. And my forward calls are going absolutely apeshit right now.
Yeah, Ford, amongst other things, I definitely wanted to bring to the table. We have a bunch of different news from Ford, but I think the biggest news for Ford, on top of them reinstating their dividend, them having a good earnings, was really the fact that certainly looks like the worst is behind them as far as the chip shortage is concerned, which spells really well for what they're trying to do moving forward with the EVs. They did announce, I think they displayed like one of their concept vehicles yesterday, but a lot of good news coming out of Ford. And I'm saying it, I need to keep reminding you people, got excited about that Hertz Tesla deal. Hertz is going to do partnerships with other companies, and I think Ford will be one of the next companies they do. So all the more reason to be bullish on Ford moving forward. So I wanted to certainly shout out Ford. Speaking of EVs, Tesla's over 1,200. But I did want to bring another stock that went off that's not named Bed Bath & Beyond, and that's Allbirds. IPO'd today and is up 90%. What are your thoughts on this company and this?
I don't really know anything about it. So
you've never seen Allbirds? Allbirds, they started as
I heard about it. I heard about
digital
the IPO,
footwear company.
Yeah. Okay.
So like they're one of those brands like Noble that you see. They started off as direct to consumer, basically one of those like Instagram brands.
Okay.
And so they focus on footwear. You've seen them, but they started with footwear, and I think now they do different types of apparel. An ESG company, yada, yada, yada. But anyways, they're trying to get into brick and mortar, expand brick and mortar, obviously continue to expand their footprint as far as digital is concerned, and then just their offerings as well. I'll be honest, like they were, obviously you haven't looked too much on the financial side of things. They've expanded losses, and they're saying that's due to a lot of COVID stuff. But I don't know, man. It feels kind of overvalued to me. And that's a really tough space to compete in.
Yeah, right now the stock is up 93%, 94% here on their first day of trading. You guys can see how much this has moved. So pretty wild stuff off of this one. I don't know again much about the company in general, but this to me, regardless, seems like it's a bit of a reach for something that's just freshly public.
Yeah. So certainly keep an eye on that. We also have, speaking of IPOs, Rivian on Tuesday, they IPO. So we'll be live for that. Bunch of awesome earnings. Next week, we have Drive Shack next week. Car Lots is next week, right?
Yes.
Car Lots should be exciting for that. So yeah, that's good stuff. But that was generally what was going on. I did have one more.
Sorry.
I did have one more thing that I'll get to, but I was just laughing at Ivan Broski's comment. I just hung up on my girl so I could watch you guys. Your priorities are straight, my friend.
Oh, man. Hell yeah, they are. So I did actually want to mention that Black Rifle Coffee is also going public via SPAC.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Ticker symbol SBEA. That one should be definitely interesting as well. The stock right now is down 8%, but yesterday had a pretty wild move as well. So that's going to be interesting. I think that the company itself has done really well. I haven't looked in their S1 yet, and I will be doing that. So maybe I'll give some more insight on Black Rifle tomorrow, but definitely one to kind of keep an eye on for sure too.
Who are their competitors?
Black Rifle Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess really anybody in the coffee space. Like, I mean, Dunkin' Donuts makes their own coffee. Starbucks makes their own coffee. So
would that be their competitor, or would like Pete's? Because Black Rifle doesn't have a brick and mortar, right?
No.
Okay.
No. But Dunkin' makes their own coffee. You could buy at the grocery store is my point. You can get it off the shelf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Black Rifle, if I'm not mistaken, you can still only get that through their website.
Yeah.
Order it. So maybe that gives them the competitive edge, or maybe that's a limitation. I'm not quite sure, but either way, the company's done extremely well. I love the story behind Black Rifle Coffee too.
What has it done well? In what way has it done well?
Just the way they've been able to build their brand. So the CEO founder of Black Rifle Coffee was a war veteran, went to the Army, then became a Green Beret, served several tours in Iraq, and then came back, decided he wanted to build a coffee company. And not only that, but also build a company that he can also to a point to where he could also give back to the community and serve the community, specifically veterans. And his goal was to build a company that where he could hire 10,000 veterans or families of veterans. He's almost there. So it's just a good story. It's a good feel-good story, I think.
Okay, so where's the part where it does well?
They've just been able to.
Now that you're public, you got to produce profits,
right?
Well, I haven't seen anything on. That's what I'm curious about,
and that's what I mentioned earlier. I need to take a little bit more of a deeper dive in their S1, but from a growth perspective, I mean, there's a lot of people that know the brand. They've been able to do that very, very well. Is what
I'm curious. I mean, my initial thought is if I was looking into this company, because I'm aware of the brand, it's like basically it's a Mission Barbecue of coffee.
Yeah.
It's the exact same story.
Yeah. Which
is great, but when you go public, you have to be profitable. And that's what I'm curious about, because
for sure
that is very competitive space. And if you're not, I just don't know what the ceiling is on that. Maybe they're profitable. I don't know. Who knows what their overhead costs are, but it'd be interesting to hear what their expansion looks like, because I feel like that's very, very challenging.
Yeah.
Like very challenging to continue to grow. But I'm sure it's going to do well just off brand recognition in the beginning.
Yep.
They have brick and mortars. They're opening brick and mortars in 2022. Got it. Cool. Real quick, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we got a little shadow in the back. We got a chaos crew that came to hang out. Shout out to our man Jeev, who's hanging in the back. He is in all the way from Singapore.
We bring him in from everywhere, people.
Yeah, he is now the second crew member that has visited us. Stuart Castro was the first. We welcome any of you guys in the studio, so it's cool to have him. We only have him for another 10 minutes, but he's got a front row or a back row seat, however you call it, to that. So I wanted to make sure we shout him out and then let you know that silhouette is actually a human being back there.
It's not some ghost.
And well, bro, bad timing. You're in Qualcomm. He's in Qualcomm.
Yeah.
So he's going to be on the train sweating bullets. But that's one of the earnings we're going to be checking out after hours, 4:00 when the bell rings. I'll go ahead and get on Twitter. Brad will pull up the charts. We have a good list. We got Roku, Qualcomm, Skills, Marathon Oil, Fastly, Etsy. I'm excited about all these. Which one stands out? Which one or two stand out to you?
I mentioned this on Stockwatch Sunday. I think that Roku in general is probably one to definitely watch. It's been beaten down over the last several months.
Yeah.
This also is definitely one that brings into question its high valuation compared to and its relationship with the tapering and potential interest rate raise in the summer of next year. So, I've mentioned this for the last several months that interest rates go up, high valuation stocks tend to struggle a little bit in response to that. Now, you can make some arguments that maybe it happens at a rate in which, those companies can absorb it. But obviously, Roku is going to be on the microscope as far as that's concerned. But I'm really looking at the potential growth from Roku, especially from what we saw from Netflix. I think that if we can see something similar, an earnings report that's similar to what Netflix had, I think Roku is actually going to do really well.
Yeah, and I'm excited about, man, there's any of these. I mean, any of these have the ability to just go off.
Yeah.
Looking at Fastly. Marathon Oil will be interesting. Will it continue to run?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Marathon? Are you like, is it like a play on words?
No.
Okay. Do I think it'll continue to run? Yes. I think that oil in general is going to keep going. I mean, even though it's not having a great couple of days.
Yeah. But Etsy is the one for me today. Etsy, I feel like they're uniquely positioned to actually be in a better spot than some of their competitors, especially because of the nature of their business. And so they're able to pivot just because they're not like an Amazon of sorts, which relies on certain products. So I don't know. This is kind of I don't want to say it's a reach, but this is certainly speculation. But I'm really excited about Etsy. I think this could be a great quarter, and I'm looking for the outlook. The only thing I will say, or the main thing that I'm concerned about, is year-over-year comps, because last year we had all the masks, and that was a huge production.
Yeah.
So, can they show the rate of growth is still high? That would be the Achilles heel for Etsy from the short-term perspective.
I agree. I think that's definitely a cause for concern. I will say, though, that I think that Etsy has the upper hand because of the way that their business is set up, to the individual shop owner versus something like Amazon, where they'd have to, there's a lot of variables that are there. Now, maybe it's comparable to something like Amazon and Shopify in the way that they do things, but I think that gives them a little bit of an edge.
Yeah. Eric Scarl's holding Etsy. We got a couple of people at Qualcomm. Jeev, Don's in your corner, bro. Qualcomm he said Qualcomm stood out to him. Don, are you in Qualcomm?
It's ripping today.
My guess is yes.
It's up 2.5% today. I mean, I would be a little nervous holding it in going into earnings today. If I didn't take anything off the table, I think I'd be a little bit nervous.
Savvy Money Show also sounds like Savvy's in Qualcomm. I did want to ask you, we have a comment here about Zillow. Cream said, so we buy in Zillow before market close, LOL.
Hell no.
I'm glad you bought that, because that's the one thing I tagged. Zillow, correct me if I'm wrong, yesterday, they sold off initially after hours.
Yes.
Moved up when green, and then they tanked.
Yes.
Am I saying anything incorrectly there?
No. They're down 26.5% right now.
I don't know where I'm going with this conversation, but I certainly wanted to talk about Zillow today. So if you guys don't know, and I think I'd say bit of a shocking news, Zillow closes down their home buying business, ends up announcing that they're going to terminate, I think, 25% of their workforce, and their stock just gets hammered, which was weird because we knew that yesterday after hours, and it actually went green. It was just weird how it happened, but this seems like actually the reaction we would expect for that kind of news.
Well, according to Jim Cramer, and I didn't listen to the call, but the CEO and upper management sounded like complete idiots on the conference call, and that's when everything started to tank back down.
Yeah.
So maybe that had something to do with it. But you look at I don't know if you've looked at how pricing of houses lately, but the estimates always seemed like they were way overblown.
They are. They always are.
So I think that the company was buying these houses based on their own estimates, and they're already higher than everybody else as far as comps are concerned. And so it just, yeah, it was just a horrible business decision. At least the bright side is that they're out of it.
Well, so two ways I want to take this, and one's just an initial comment, which is, how do you mess this thing up? Like they cited the fact that they're moving away is because there's too much volatility and uncertainty from their financial perspective, which I don't understand. And also, home prices, like the market's on fire as far as like they shouldn't have any issues flipping houses and selling them.
Yeah.
So what ineptitude is there that's causing this? There's somebody there that just doesn't know what they're doing clearly, because if you can't flip houses in this market,
right,
something's wrong. And what I imagine is probably partly to your point, they're overpaying.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the experience with contractors has always been miserable. So I'm sure they're also overpaying and getting hosed by contractors and like zero margin. So I got to imagine somewhere in sort of their roadmap, they're probably just not any money left over for them. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. That to me is a huge opportunity they now won't have. I'm more curious when we think about Rocket has earnings tomorrow. This makes me a little bit nervous about Rocket. Does this matter at all? I know Rocket doesn't buy and sell homes, but like, should there be cause for concern as far as Rocket's concerned?
No, I don't think so. And I think Rocket's actually a buy at this point. I know that you've been, you already own Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement that I think that Rocket's actually a buy here, and a large part due to the fact that the Fed is recognizing that they're going to have to raise rates this year, and then the taper as well. We've talked about how the financial markets are going to do rather well in that environment, and so I think that Rocket actually stands to benefit from that as well from a lending standpoint. Yeah. I mean, we've heard from the banks, J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley, all of them, how they think that the appetite for lending is going to continue to increase. So I think that only supports the bull case for Rocket.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right, man. I'm excited about that. Why don't you talk generally about flip to camera 2? Why don't you talk generally about just how you performed today, review your account or anything you want to talk about as far as any trades you made or had.
All right. You're going to see Rajiv out. Okay. All right. So, so my day in particular actually went crazy. So let's just talk about Ford real quick. I had Ford calls 19 strike that expire in January, and it went off. So you guys know that I actually have been in and out of Ford since their earnings, and it's been a pretty incredible ride. This time around, I think I'm going to continue to hang on to it because I think that Ford's going to continue to make a decent run. I think $20 is more than on the table here for the rest of the year. So I'm going to let this run into December. I think right now the positions that I have is going to be more or less, unless something crazy happens with any of them, whether they go up or down. I think that I'm going to actually hold on to most of my stuff going into December at this point, given the way that earnings are across the board and how the market is reacting overall.
I didn't make any plays today, but sort of kept with my plays yesterday. I had a call spread on Uber that worked out for me. Uber did really well. I have one on Rocket. I have a call spread on Rocket, but I also, my Fat Man Zoom account, one of my 3 high conviction stocks is Rocket. So I actually also have shares of Rocket. I'm really bullish on Rocket. Fundamentally, I just think it's silly right now.
Yeah.
Don said he's selling puts on Rocket, which is a bullish position.
Yeah.
Bullish play. So we'll see. What is your market did love Powell's news. You're right. What's your strike on those puts, Don? Just asking. And then, so that's sort of where I'm at. I still have my calls. I took calls 30 days out at the money for Bank of America. So I'm hoping that ends up doing well.
Yeah, it will.
Just want to touch on real quick, just circling right back to the Zillow conversation, because this question was asked and I forgot about it. I wanted to ask you the same question.
Sure.
This is, who asked this question? So just regarding those comments, Michael Hanna said Rocket should be fine. Zillow made money on their loan program. Open Door. I want to talk about Open Door. Zane Khan asked, what's the impact of Zillow on Open Door? Is it only Zillow's issue or sector-wide? I'm not going to lead you on this question. What is the impact of Open Door or the Zillow news on Open Door?
I don't think it's an industry-wide issue. I think it's Zillow's problem because Zillow screwed up. They overpaid for stuff, and I don't think the rest of the market, the rest of the industry is going to suffer because of that. Obviously, you can see that Open Door suffered somewhat, but I think this is more of an opportunity for Open Door. And if I had to choose between the two, I'm going with ticker symbol OPEN.
I have got to imagine that the leadership of Open Door this morning was on cloud nine. Because I agree. Not only do I not think it's an issue, I think this is a huge opportunity for Open Door, and I think this is bullish for Open Door.
Yes.
Again, I think it's ineptitude with Zillow, but as far as Open Door is concerned, you just literally like knocked off a competitor. So I think this is huge news. Regardless, I don't care what the market reacted to that.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is, if I'm at Open Door, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. So they have earnings next week. Open Door's a buy, and I might be getting into this bad boy.
Yeah. The chart actually looks pretty good. On the daily chart, it's looking like it's hanging right at the 50-day and 200-day moving average and holding there.
Yeah.
So I think that this actually presents a pretty decent opportunity for Open Door as long as it holds these levels. I think, risk reward is definitely really good right here.
Don has $16 puts on Rocket.
Cool.
Open Door. Maybe a call spread. Maybe. Not sure, but so next Wednesday's earnings, this may be on Stock Watch Sunday. We'll see. But man, I was looking right at that when I heard that news, and when I saw the sell-off, I was like, damn, I went right to Open Door to see what that's doing.
Yeah. Couple things that I wanted to just touch on real quick. Marriott had their earnings today, and they were pretty darn good. They cited increase in demand for travel and bookings for the month of October. They see that continuing on throughout the rest of the year and into 2022. The stock responded. If you guys were not a part of the Chaos Crew watch list, then you missed out, guys. We called this breakout at the beginning of the week. Talked about Marriott on Friday as well within our Chaos Crew folks, and basically talked about this chart and how it is breaking out, and it's on the verge of a breakout. And the catalyst that sent it today was their earnings. I think that this is actually going to be a continued move. We're not done with this yet. And if you guys missed it and want to get in on the Chaos Crew, make sure you check the link down in the description. We put out a watch list every single morning before the market opens for absolutely free. So go check that out. It's at ownthechaos.com. The links are in the description yet again. That's ownthechaos.com. You can get a watch list from us for nothing, a big old $0 for the watch list, Fat Man Zoom. And you could have saw the Marriott move.
Well, we have Airbnb earnings tomorrow. Do you think any of Marriott's earnings gives us indication about Airbnb's earnings?
Absolutely. I think that, I still remain bullish on Airbnb, still have a sizable position in this one. I have trimmed it since adding to it at the bottom, but still going to hold on to the remaining part of my position here. I think that Airbnb is going to continue to rock and roll. The real crucial area is going to be this 176 area. If they have good earnings, and that should be the catalyst that sends them above that resistance, technically speaking. And I think Airbnb should make a nice run as a result.
And in other news, surprise, surprise, Don's in Airbnb. I'll tell you what, I see.
Don bought the whole entire stock market.
It's funny because I thought he's going to go on a chat rampage after I make this comment. I could have sworn in his videos, he says, I only trade like 3 things. I could have swore he says that. It's like Amazon and Tesla and Apple or something. But yet every time he's on our channel, he's got everything. What don't you have, Don?
I did want to touch on one other thing real quick. Daniel Camarena tuning in from the FedEx warehouse. I appreciate you, brother. He said that FedEx is continuing to work on these charging stations, and they plan on electrifying the fleet next year. Those are ChargePoint charging stations, Fat Man Zoom.
Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome.
Also, just to Daniel Camarino, always hanging out with us from the FedEx warehouse. I wanted to touch on FedEx real quick and the rest of the transports. FedEx has had a hell of a bounce since we talked about it at the bottom at around 222. And it's been moving up ever since. It's getting ready to close up over the 50-day moving average, and I think the transports in general are probably going to have a pretty decent move. I'm in XPO. I told you guys that I got into it last night after before earnings. Didn't have a great response to those earnings, but I'm going to remain in that stock regardless. I'm actually considering getting in on some more or on some FedEx as well. Probably will take an options play here on FedEx because I think that we do see a run on this towards the end of the year as well. Transports in general, UPS, FedEx, even the airlines, I think they're all going to do well because they're lagging the rest of the market right now.
Yeah, I wanted to shift over. That kind of brings up a question that just got up, which was Spirit Aerosystems. Listen, we're going to give you both sides. We'll give you the good calls, Marriott. Spirit, how's Spirit doing?
I don't think that's doing really well after today, is it? Where are we at on that?
Before I say it, I didn't.
It's down around 5.1% right now.
Yeah, let's touch on that as well, because obviously, one of the things we talk about, guys, is both sides of it. We're not just going to give you the positive stuff.
Yeah,
we've been bullish on Spirit. Now, I did ask Brad recently. I think it was on Stockwatch Sunday, given really another round of issues with American Airlines, and just seems like the hits keep coming for these airlines. Are you still bullish on airlines in general? He actually shifted his opinion and said there's actually things to be concerned about now. But what are your thoughts on Spirit? I don't know how much of the earnings you looked at, but how are you feeling about Spirit?
I still think I like Spirit. Look, some of the issues that they're dealing with right now I think are temporary. So then I would view this as just another opportunity to get in on Spirit. If you take a look at the chart, it's obviously had some pretty organized moves. We've seen some downtrends and then breakouts and then more downtrends and breakouts. And I think that from a technical standpoint, this actually looks pretty darn good as an opportunity to get in on some Spirit if you guys want to take a shot at it. I think risk reward here is actually quite good.
I feel okay about Spirit. I'm not so I will say I just don't know when it's going to come back.
Yeah.
I feel like this could potentially be one you're just sitting and dying a slow death. If it's a long-term investment account, I think you're going to be fine. I don't know, but I don't know what it's going to take to get this thing back going. I don't understand where the airlines are at right now at all.
Well, the big problem has been being able to keep up with demand, right? That's kind of been the struggle. If the airlines are having trouble with that, especially from a labor shortage standpoint, then it would stand to reason that it probably trickles to some of the manufacturing because they're not going to necessarily be focused on buying more planes if they can't even hire people to fly them. So that's kind of been some of the, I guess, hesitation. But I think once we get past this headwind, then I think the airlines and the airline manufacturers, Boeing, Spirit, I think they're all going to be fine.
Well, I think we also have to remember that airlines are not dissimilar to legacy automotive, which they don't run their businesses very well. Speaking frankly, there's not a lot of margin for error for airlines. And so things like this, when it's hard to be profitable in general, and obviously Southwest is a good company, but these things can get ugly really quickly. And we've seen airlines get bailed out, much like the banks have gotten bailed out in the past.
Yep.
But airlines the airlines and automotive tend to get bailed out, which speaks to one, the small margin for error, and two, just the lack of real profitability in general. And that does concern me. And yes, labor shortage certainly has a lot to do with it because of all the cuts they made before COVID is actually, in a weird twist of fate, hurting them right now. So you still got to train the people to ramp them back up.
Yep.
I think it's a tough road ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I just look at to your point, Spirit is one that just is a head scratcher only because the airlines in general have come back to their pre-pandemic levels, right? Whereas Spirit hasn't even gotten to half of what they were pre-pandemic. And so that's what I look at as far as potential upside and from a valuation standpoint. Now, whether or not investors care about that, obviously we've seen that it's not always that the valuation matters or market cap related to PE matters. But I think at some point it's going to catch up with itself and with the rest of the industry just because of how much of a laggard this has been.
Yeah. So the market is now officially closed, guys. We have a lot of earnings, so we can run through that again. Welcome, Paulo Mercado, level 1, Paulo Mercado.
Hey, welcome to the crew.
We have over 150 people here. That's awesome, man. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Appreciate the support. Roku's inching up.
Hell yeah. Hit that like button. We got 39 likes with 154 of you guys hanging out. We appreciate you sticking around for earnings reactions. Look, I'm going to pull up Roku just to see what's going on there. Not much. We also have Etsy's earnings as well. Etsy's just barely read after hours. Nothing going on there just yet. We'll go ahead and pull up Qualcomm as well. That had a hell of a day. It was up quite a bit and now is actually up here after hours around 3.5%. Let's go ahead and pull up the 1 minute chart so you guys can see what's going on in real time here.
Guys, let us know what you're in. Let us know what you're looking at. I want to know what people got. What you're expecting here from these earnings.
Looks like numbers might be out for Qualcomm. It is.
I have those numbers. Estimates earnings per share, 226. They beat earnings per share, 255. They also beat on revenue, $8.88. Came in at 932. Boom.
Wow. The Qualcomm is now up 4.5% and climbing here. We'll continue to watch that. So pretty good beat there. I'd imagine the guidance is going to be pretty good too, given the reaction. But nice move on Qualcomm after already having a hell of a day during market hours. Wow, what a move. Etsy might be starting to move here. Maybe not. A couple other ones. I see some folks in the chat talking about Skills. I'm sure once historically, though, Skills doesn't really do much, even when they report earnings. We'll still look to see if there's any kind of reaction there when they report. But there's usually we've reacted to earnings in the past and it hasn't really moved a whole lot, good or bad, in after hours. But we'll pull it up regardless. There's a couple other ones. Cloudflare, is Cloudflare today? I don't know. I'll pull that up. But Fisker, ticker symbol FSR, also has earnings today. See some people asking about that. We'll certainly give some reactions to that. MGM also has earnings today. Pull that up.
Somebody check on Don Fron. He's losing his shit over there.
He is losing his shit. God damn, man.
There's somebody who doesn't get emotional. He gets emotional.
Such a diva, for Christ's sake. All right, looking at Roku.
Oh, I'm going to get a text after this.
Roku's down.
Why'd you say diva?
Roku's down 3.5% right now after hours. Looks like their numbers might be out. If you guys are just tuning in, we did cover Qualcomm's earnings. There was the first ones to arrive on the scene. Now that stock is up almost 5% on some pretty rock star numbers. Fastly's earnings are today too. Yes, we'll pull that up as well. Okay. And Fastly's down around 1%, but it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on there. So it might just be nothing just yet. But man, Qualcomm's still just coming back to that one, and that is up almost 5%. Roku is now down and accelerating the sell-off here. It's down around 7% here after hours. That's a shame. I was really rooting for Roku here. Thought that maybe that would do well, given the way that Netflix had their reaction, especially with this coming all the way down from 490 highs, now sitting at 292 after hours.
Roku's tanking.
Roku is tanking. Yeah, it's down 6.5% net right now.
Ooh.
Etsy is up 1%. Looks like that might start to get a move on here. Once those numbers come in, we'll give them to you. Not so much movement anywhere else, really. So, yeah, this one's down around 6. Roku's still continuing to fall here. We'll see. All right. Fisker is now up 2% after hours. Here we go. Some movement on Fisker as well. Guys, if you're just tuning in, make sure you hit that thumbs up. We are giving our live reactions to earnings today. So far, Qualcomm has reported, we gave those numbers, they crushed on earnings per share as well as revenue. And it looks like they might have given some good guidance as well. Stocks up around 3.5%.
I don't have earnings per share yet for Roku, but they did miss on revenue. Estimates were 681 million, came in at 680 million.
And that stock is now down 7.5%.
Oof.
Still selling off. Etsy is now moving. That's up 2.25. Saw that just spike up here on the 1 minute and still climbing here. Now it's up 4%. Woo! Etsy getting a move on, bro.
Etsy is? I thought you said it was down 7%. Oh, Roku.
No,
sorry,
Roku.
Etsy.
Yeah. Etsy's rocking and rolling here.
Nice.
Roku is actually now down at 8.5% and falling. Fastly's numbers look like they might be out too. That's up 7% after hours. Let's just check that out. Price action on that. Rocking and rolling here.
Nothing on Etsy yet.
Rocking and rolling on Fastly. Skills is actually getting some action here too. It's up 3.5% after hours. So far, a halfway decent afternoon. The only big loser so far has been Roku. That's down 7-8% right now. Pretty wild stuff there. Numbers that we have definitively so far is Qualcomm's, and they crushed it on earnings per share and revenue. That's up 4% after hours and holding its gains pretty good. So pretty solid move after Qualcomm already had a pretty decent day. That's awesome. Michael Hannes says, I've been buying Fastly for the last 6 months. That stock, Fat Man Zoom, is now up 12% after hours and climbing here. It's rocking right now. Fastly is.
That's awesome. I should have the numbers here. That's awesome.
Holy shit. It's still going. It's up now 14%.
All right. What do we have?
God damn, that thing is moving. Etsy now turned red, is down 2.5%, almost 3% now. Checking out some other stuff here. Roku still struggling, man. It's down at like 8%. Not really any kind of buying returning just yet. Tough stuff for Roku. Etsy was up around 4% and now has made the turn and sold off, now down 2.5% after hours. Fastly still rocking and rolling here. Woo! Look at that.
Yeah, so Luke, I'm seeing the article you read regarding Fastly reported 87 million in revenue, and that's like a 23% growth year over year for the quarter. And the CEO said 1 billion in revenue by 2025. I want to know how that happens. Like it's definitely possible. But we're talking about, well, I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know how excited I am about that. Like for a digital tech company, if you're doing about 400 million a year, I hope you get to 1 billion by 2025.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm like hyped about that. I maybe like wish you were a little bit higher. Think about it.
That's 3 years.
3 years. We see these tech companies, we want, especially like newer companies, they should be showing like 40% growth.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
That's true. That's fair. But they experienced insane growth over the pandemic. And I think, yeah, no, you're right. You got a good point, I think.
Like 2025 is far away.
Yeah.
So that would be my only thing is like, would be that.
Yeah.
So even if you're at 30%, 30% growth.
Yeah.
But
it's regardless, it's having a hell of an afternoon. It's now up 15% after hours in response to those earnings, and still rocking and rolling. Checking back in with Roku. Don't have the earnings per share just yet, but it sounds like, from what I remember, you said they missed on revenue.
Yeah, they did. Real quick, just to clarify, I'm not saying anything bad about Fastly. It's been beaten down big time. I'm just saying that might not be what moved the stock right now. There may be something else.
Also, be careful, only because Fastly's been known to do this. It goes crazy and then it fizzles out the next day. So just be careful of some of the profit taking you may see tomorrow. But hey, we get a close up above the 200-day, which is where it's over right now at 62. Trading right now is $62. This 200-day is at 59. So we get a close over that. Might be a good shape for Fastly. It's still rocking, man. It's up 18% now.
That's awesome, man.
Congrats to anybody who's in Fastly. That thing is a real winner right now.
Michael Hanna, you must be feeling good.
Yeah, shit. What a move. It's still going up. SunPower did have earnings. Yes, I actually had that in the thumbnail. If you guys saw, that's down 2.25%. Roku is still getting beat up. It's down almost 10% here after hours. Jesus.
I have the Fastly numbers. Estimates earnings per share were a loss of 19 cents, came in a loss of 11 cents. Good there. Beat 84 million. Expected came in at 87 million. Good stuff. Seeing if there's anything else they say.
Stock's now up 20%.
That's awesome.
Danny Alvarado had puts on Fastly. Sorry about your luck, bro. That money's gone. It's now up 21%, still rocking and rolling. So if you guys are just tuning in, we did cover Qualcomm's earnings, which were awesome. And now that stock's up 5% after hours. Pretty good move considering that it already had a solid move earlier in the day as well. So that's looking awesome. What a day for Qualcomm, and it's looking like it's about to beat the high in after hours trading. That was around 145.75. Yep, there it goes. So it looks like that might actually continue here. Really good move on Qualcomm. Then Skills, I don't know if their earnings are out just yet, but it looks like it might be. That stock is up 2% after hours. Qualcomm's still moving up here. Fastly also came in, had some pretty nice numbers there as well. That stock is up 20% after hours. What a move for Fastly. Some of you guys were asking about Fisker right now. I think that those numbers might be out. The stock's now down 3%. So looking pretty rough for Fisker. Qualcomm's still rolling. Now up 6% after hours. And
nice.
Looks like the volume's really starting to roll in here.
G's going to have a nice train ride back to New York.
Yeah. Jeev told us he had calls in on Qualcomm just before we went live. So he's having a hell of a morning or afternoon. What a move on that. Whew.
Outside of Roku missing on revenue, I'm not seeing any specifics just yet.
No earnings per share on that?
No, and I don't have I can pull it up, but I don't either have how much they missed revenue by either.
Yeah, Philip Stroh, we talked about Allbird today. Top of the show. Skills is now looking even better here. It's up 2.5%.
It looks like Roku beat. I'm just going to say these numbers. Don't hold me to it. Looks like they came in at 48 cents. And I think the estimates were 7 cents. Hold on.
Wow.
I'm just going to pull it up for you guys real quick.
Qualcomm still rocking and rolling here. That's up 6.5%. What a move.
Yeah. Why is Roku down? Revenue slightly missed, came in at 680 million. I'll be honest. I think this is the overreaction. I'm not seeing anything.
There's got to be something else.
Active accounts reached 56.4 million, increase of 1.3 million. Average revenue per user up 49% year over year. Nah, I'm not. I don't know. I don't think this is. I mean, they missed revenue, but yeah. I understand.
I gotta say something. Somebody, Henry Otis, gave a round of applause for Don Fran being quiet. Guess who deleted it?
Don.
Don deleted it. Oh, that's so funny. We love you, Don. But that's hilarious.
So Mad Dicks said that Roku lost the Google and Amazon contract. I hear you, Mad Dix, but I don't think, is that official? I don't think that they lost the Amazon contract. Listen, I'm spitting off the top. I haven't looked into this further, but as far as I understood it, that they're still in their current Amazon contract. They haven't renewed yet, but I think Roku said they haven't begun. They're not in talks. So it doesn't necessarily to me mean that. Now, I don't know about Google. I can't speak to Google.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did lose. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just haven't heard that.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard officially them saying that
was that in this report though, or like that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm wondering. So like, what's the reaction here? Why is it reacting to this?
Yeah, maybe
specifically. Looking at Etsy, that actually made the turn. It was red and now starting to turn green here after hours. That's looking much better. Fastly having a hell of a pullback.
So Roku, I mean, this was a couple weeks ago. Their ongoing contract dispute with Google related to renewing the carriage agreement with YouTube TV. Roku removed the YouTube app from its channel store. But again, so the partnership agreement will terminate in December. But it looks like that was known for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it looks like I don't know, maybe that was old news. So I don't know what the reaction here is for. Interesting. Skills is now continuing to move. That's up 4% and moving at a pretty decent clip here. Now up 5%. Something's in that report. That is getting a move on here.
You know, it does beg the question as well. Amazon, let's not forget, is getting into flat top TVs.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what that means. Again, to Brad's point, was there something said on this earnings? That's what I'm curious about. But if I'm Amazon, I would want a partnership with Roku. I know you have the Fire Stick and everything like that, but I think both can exist. Maybe not. I don't know. But guys, if you hear any information, definitely keep us apprised of that.
Yeah. Skills is now up 8% after hours and continuing to go up. Really nice move from Skills. This is a Kathy Wood special. Fastly is pulling back fast and in a hurry. It was up 20% and now taking a nosedive. It's now only up around 7% here after hours. MGM looks like their numbers might be out too. That's up 3.5%. What a crazy afternoon, bro.
Yeah. Surprised a lot of these didn't come through yet. Let me just try to pull them up again. So, Fastly beat by 7 cents on earnings per share and beat on revenue. So that's obviously, we talked about that. Fastly,
yeah.
And then Skills we haven't found yet, right?
Yeah.
Skills missed on earnings per share, missed on revenue, both slightly. So estimates earnings per share for Skills was a loss of 13 cents, came in at a loss of 16. Revenue, a loss of 103 million, came in at 102 million. But you said it's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up.
They did reaffirm their outlook, though.
For
the fiscal year.
Good guidance. Yeah, maybe. Luke says I called the pullback before it happened on Fastly. Yeah, I know. That thing gets so crazy, man. Gets so crazy. Look, now it's trying to see if it wants to go back up. What a wild stock that thing is. MGM, it's looking like that's doing pretty well here after hours. It's up 3%. As soon as those numbers come out, we'll certainly hand them off to you. But we got 200 of you guys hanging out this afternoon as we're giving some of our reactions to earnings. So we appreciate it. We appreciate you hanging out. Hit the like button if you guys are loving the stream so far. We do this every day. Sunday through Thursday, we're live. Monday through Thursday, we're live at 3:30 p.m. So just before the market closes. And then Sundays, we have Stock Watch Sunday, which is kind of our premier flagship show. We just kind of go over what's going to be coming up for the upcoming week, and all kinds of good stuff. So if you're visiting for the first time, hopefully we earn a subscription from you. Hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to get notified every time we go live. But if you're just tuning in, we gave reactions to Qualcomm's earnings, which I'll show you guys the chart here. It's now up 6.5%, almost 6.5% after hours, after knocking their earnings expectations out of the park. Pretty good stuff there. Roku surprisingly had good numbers, but the reaction is pretty poor. Not quite sure what in that report is causing the sell-off just yet, but that's down 9.5%. Looking at Fastly, that came in with some pretty nice numbers. It looks like the market's reacting to some of their outlook numbers as well. That's up 9.5% after being up 20% earlier this afternoon. So still pretty good move for Fastly regardless. Skills came in and they missed earnings and revenue badly. It was green and now has made the turn and is now red 6% after hours. What a wild ride for Skills here so far. It's just crazy ass moves today.
This is an interesting statistic because people are talking about MGM stock repurchase. MGM repurchased 1 billion shares of common stock through September of 2021.
Yeah.
Listen to this stat. Apple has bought back $435 billion in stock over the past 8 years.
Wow.
Almost $500 billion.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
Which we're at the end of this show. At the end of yesterday's show, you gave out some information. I don't know if you want to update people on the Bed Bath & Beyond situation.
Oh, yeah. I'll do that as soon as we cover some of the... do you have MGM's numbers?
MGM. Oh, did they have earnings today?
Yeah, I've been talking about MGM. Must have missed that one. But yeah, they
definitely missed it. We didn't even say it in the beginning.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't think I'm not going to go back and check.
It's in the thumbnail too.
Oh, is it?
Yep. So go ahead.
Earnings watch party plus I don't know. I can't see the thumbnail.
It's in the thumbnail.
Okay, so they beat loss of 1 cent a share, came in at 3 cents a share. Positive. Beat on revenue looks good. 2.48 billion estimates came in at 2.71 billion.
Sweet.
Looks good.
That's up 3% after hours, making a hell of a move. That bodes well for the gaming industry. We have Penn earnings tomorrow morning, so we'll be giving our reaction to Penn after the earnings have already come out tomorrow afternoon. So there will be pre-market is Penn's earnings. So maybe a good precursor to Penn, given the way that MGM is reacting here. Fingers crossed, because this stock has been frustrating as hell since March. But still believe in the company, firmly believe in the company. Yeah, so all kinds of good stuff. SunPower, we didn't give earnings numbers there, but it looks like the response there hasn't been really all that great. It's down around 2.25%. I don't know if it really needs to be gone over. It looks like maybe those numbers weren't all that fantastic. Fisker's flat on the afternoon. I don't know if there's much to report on that either, given the reaction there. They don't have any revenue just yet, so I don't think that there's much to read off of. But Fastly looks like it might actually go red here, Fat Man Zoom. What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, we've been seeing this. This happened yesterday.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Is Penn reacting at all to MGM?
Let's see. No.
Shane says, Penn, please do literally anything tomorrow.
But go down. Literally anything but go down.
Oh, man.
No, Penn's not reacting at all. No reaction to Penn there.
I'm excited to hear this MGM stuff. Listen, I wish we would have talked more about it, but like we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
They're definitely, I think it's safe to say, exceeding expectations as far as the online sports betting is concerned.
Yes.
They don't need to win, but they are by far, when you look at brick and mortar, they're leading the charge. When you look at the other companies, even Penn, Caesars, Golden Nugget, MGM is winning compared to their peers.
Yeah.
And we've always talked about their balance sheet. So them repurchasing shares, that's awesome. That speaks to what we've talked about. One of the best, I mean, probably safe to say they have the best balance sheet as far as their industry is concerned, but just a generally great balance sheet. And their leadership's great. They've made some great moves just to become more lean and really focus on what they're good at.
Yeah.
And they've shown they're focusing on taking over Vegas, which they have. obviously Macau is a small bit of exposure, but that's playing in their favor. When Macau does open up, that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah. And I mean, the price action has shown that. I think investors are really looking at MGM. I mean, it's well above their pre-pandemic levels because I think the company is going to become even more valuable than it was pre-pandemic. So the price here constitutes the everything that's been going on with the company and the industry itself. I think the industry has been ignored, especially from the sports betting side. We've seen how more and more states have adopted sports betting, and that's only going to further bolster a lot of these companies: MGM, DraftKings, Penn, even Caesars. We've seen Caesars really lean into advertising and create a huge budget for the advertising for the next year. So that's going to continue to be the story. I know it's been a little bit rough. I think the Delta variant certainly wreaked havoc over the gaming industry over the last 4 to 5 months.
Yeah.
But we could start to see things finally pick back up. And hopefully, obviously, we're seeing that with MGM. Hopefully, we'll see that with Penn and some of the others as well.
Another question from Latifa. Roku, is it a buy at 286?
Let's take a look at the chart. So we'll pull up Roku here. Starting to move a little bit.
Is Fubo this week?
Fubo.
Is that tomorrow?
Yes, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow, I believe, after hours.
That's going to be interesting after Roku. And I mean, we've seen this with a lot of the streaming. They've had some challenges, but yeah, 9.
I would watch.
No, Fubo's next week. Sorry.
Oh, it's next week?
Yeah, next Tuesday.
For some reason, I thought it was Thursday. So looking at Roku, the support here that I have is around 292. What did Latifah ask about? What was her number?
Sorry, 286.
286. You could see that 286 was all the way back. No, actually it wasn't. So all the way back here is around 273. I would venture to say that the support here is around 292. So it comes down to 290. If it opens up at 292, I think we're going to be in good shape. At 287, it's got to come back up over 292. It's at 287 right now in after hours trading. If it doesn't hold above 292 tomorrow, if it doesn't close above that, I think that there's a likelihood it comes even lower, maybe to around 271.5. That was where the low was 2 quarters ago, back in May, when all of tech kind of really took a big hit. So, yeah, it remains to be seen what we open up at tomorrow. I think that's going to be the big tell there for Roku tomorrow.
Did we hit 200 people?
We did.
That's awesome.
We had over 200 people in the stream, and guys, we can't thank you enough. It's been awesome. It's been a great afternoon. We're going to be back here tomorrow. I did want to cover real quick. So we talked about last night about Bed Bath & Beyond and the move that it made. We thought that initially it was because of the buyback news that they had, which came out right around the same time that the Kroger news came out. So a big partnership with Kroger and their e-commerce side of things with Bed Bath & Beyond. So that's why it made the big move. Obviously, it has a lot of high short interest, a lot of interest from Wall Street bets as well. So that's why it made the big move. That thing was wild and all over the place. But a little bit of a combination of catalysts there that we didn't initially cover because we didn't even see the news as we were getting ready to close down for the evening.
Yeah, I would argue that that's probably better news than the buyback. A partnership, I think
100%.
Bed Bath & Beyond wins more than Kroger. I know Kroger also was up, but I don't know. But margins wise, that'll be interesting to see. But I think this is great news for Bed Bath & Beyond. Did you end up getting into it?
I did not.
All right, good.
I was staying the hell away. Not long or short.
Excited about tomorrow, guys.
Yes, it's going to be a big day.
All right, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hit that thumbs up on your way out the door. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Freddie's back tomorrow.